cover until we have strength. We cover until we have nations wait. We behold until we have fun. How long can you wait? We behold until we have fun. How long can you wait on me? We behold until we have fun. How long can you wait? How long can you wait? We behold until we have fun. If it takes an eternity, will you wait? We cover until we have strength. How long can you wait? We cover until we have strength. Teachers wait up.
Hello there, and welcome to the Forge podcast, a podcast by men, for men, and courtesy of the Redeemer's Men's Fellowship of RCCG Region 51, Tabernacle of David. The Forge is
where we have the real, raw, and rarely spoken conversations of what it means to be a man in a contemporary world and a VUCA world.
The Forge is where men come to be shaped and not to be shamed.
Where we talk about the real stuff, the pressure, the pain, the pride, and the purpose of being a man and what is expected of a man, yet with a little understanding.
So wherever you are listening from, I encourage you to please lean in. The heat in the Forge is not here to destroy you, but to forge you. My name is Kingsley Ifoga, delighted to be your host and brother. Together with me in the studio is my co-host. He's got the most authentic baritone.
I am Emmanuel Okunla, and it's a true pleasure to have you tune in to us today as we dive deep into our episode today.
Today, we're stepping into the fire on a subject that every man feels, but few talk about. The subject of money. To be honest, money isn't just about what's in the bank. For many of us as men, money affects us more than we often would admit. Money usually is the scoreboard, the thing that makes us feel whether we are successful as a man or we are failures.
So whether you're struggling or you're successful, there's always a story tied to your finances, a silent weight, an unspoken pressure, the hidden fear, or maybe it's even your source of pride. But here's the truth. Money is not just all about bills or budgets. It's actually deeply rooted in your identity, your sense of worth, and the way you show up for people around you. Whether you're single or married, unemployed or employed, thriving or surviving, money touches everything around you. And today, we're unpacking it all with honesty, with empathy, and without shame.
Indeed, without shame. And in this episode, we are diving exactly into how money shapes our sense of manhood, how money shapes our relationships, how money affects our mental health. We'll talk about the pressure to provide, the fear of asking for help, the discomfort of earning less than your partner, and maybe how we can start to reshape our mindsets and reclaim our peace. So, wherever you are listening from all around the world, whether you're driving, you're walking, you're sitting in the traffic, or just you need a voice to help you feel seen, I invite you to breathe easy. You are in the Forge, a space where we get it all. We talk, we heal, we grow together as men.
And to drive this conversation today, we're privileged to have with us in the studio two of God's finest men from RCCG Region 51, whom we glean on their understanding, their experience, and their knowledge. Our first guest today studied accounting and is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, FCA. He holds an MBA in the University of Liverpool and is an alumnus of Lagos Business School, Ajah. His professional life was spent working in leading professional accounting and consulting firms in the UK, in the United States, and Nigeria. Various assignments took him to work in various nations within Africa. He is happily married to his helpmate, Pastor Mrs. Yinka Morgan, and blessed with a family comprising of 2 daughters, a son-in-law, and a grandson to the glory of God. He sits with the board of various companies, including Latin Ventures, which was founded 30 years ago. He's also very involved in many committees and boards within the mission, including the board of Redeemer's Men Fellowship. He is the pastor in charge of Redeemed Christian Church of God, the Tabernacle of David Parish, located in Ajah, Lagos, Nigeria. He also serves as the pastor in charge of Region 51 and the mission with oversight responsibility for 6 provinces located in Lagos. He is a father, a husband, and most importantly, a man. His name is Pastor Remy Morgan. And our second guest today is Pastor Sylvester Aneni, studied accounting in Edo State University, formerly Ambrose Ali University, and did his MBA at Babcock University. He has spent over 2 decades working in the banking and insurance space and is currently offering services in insurance and the real estate sector. He is also a father, is a husband, and a real man. Welcome once again, Pastor Sylvester Aneni.
Yeah, a big welcome to our special guest in the studio, Pastor Remy Morgan, popularly known as PRM.
PRM.
You're welcome, sir. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
And of course, we have the indefatigable, the industrious,
Yes.
the dynamic
Yes.
Pastor Sylvester Aneni. You're welcome, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
Good to have you in the studio. All right. Having established the presence of our distinguished guests in the studio, let's dive into the major segment of today's discourse. Now, we've got 5 segments we're going to treat, but before we do that, we'll take a recap of a poll that was taken a few weeks earlier from a small sample size. The question: how comfortable are you with asking your wife for money? And how does she usually respond? How comfortable are you with asking your wife for money? And how does she usually respond? You understand that this is a very sensitive question amongst men, and we were interested to see how exactly men, took
React
the
to it.
response, from their wives. So 2 options: not comfortable, very comfortable. We had 8 persons, 8 respondents choose not comfortable. And then we had 6 respondents say very comfortable. So we have more persons saying they are not comfortable asking their wives for money. So the very first segment says men in hardship versus wives' financial power. Men in hardship versus wives' financial power. PRM, sir, the first question will go to you. So how much of a man's resistance to receiving help from his wife, is really about his ego or maybe his silent fears?
Thank you, Brother Kingsley, Brother Emmanuel. Thanks for inviting me, dear brother, also an accountant. I don't know if it's a coincidence.
An amazing coincidence.
About money to this initial program. I think it is a great initiative.
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
trusting that your expectations exceeded.
Definitely.
Very interesting question about finances. And so we're asking, why do men
resist asking for help?
Requesting for help? I think society expects that man, breadwinner. I believe scripture also communicates that expectation, that a man who's not able to provide for his household is worse than
an infidel.
And I dare say some women might have thrown that at men in the past.
Very often.
So is it ego or is it reservation? You want to function in the role and responsibility sense that of the man. And so I won't say it's maybe more reservation. So I'm reserved about asking. And then you make mention of fear. Fear. Is it fear of rejection? Fear of an insult? Fear of being demeaned? That's out there as well. But I want to think that if there is a very honest, transparent, cordial relationship that has existed within the family, it shouldn't be too something that should be too difficult. I know one of the fundamental scriptures that we make reference to about marriage is Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. When God says, it is not good for a man to be alone. I will find him a helper that is meet for him. The Amplified says suitable, complementary, and adaptable. And I want to think that if both husband and wife recognize that, then it shouldn't be too difficult to make that request, especially when it is not a constant and an everyday thing. Circumstances have arisen. And even for me, I want to think and hope that the wife who recognizes the situation, especially if the relationship is cordial, can actually make the overture and find a way to provide the support for her husband.
Interesting.
And for the family, a lot of times it's not for his personal use. It is for the family.
Indeed, sir. Indeed. So if I take your feedback, you think it tilts more to ego and not necessarily fear, not necessarily reservation.
I say reservation. I'd rather even use reservation rather than reservation. I think that's
okay. Beautiful. Thank you so much, sir. So, Pastor Sylvester, we've got a question for you on the same segment. It says, what can couples do to manage financial imbalance in a way that builds trust and not tension? I mean, we heard PRM say reservation, more from the man's side. So how would you, put on the lights for couples? How can they manage financial imbalance to build trust?
Thank you so very much. To PRM, green light. Now I'll start by saying, the 16th President of America, Abraham Lincoln, said, and I quote, "The best way to predict a future is to create it."
That's deep.
It is not who earns more that brings the pressure in a family. The atmosphere that you have created. When I met my wife, we were working in the same organization. She was earning more than I was earning. Of course, she finished school quite early, being a child of educationist. And I'm a child of a farmer. So the gap was wide. I discovered that she didn't hold anything back when it comes to supporting financially. I didn't even need to ask. Somebody may say I was lucky, but that didn't last for more than 2 years. The organization came up with a policy that couples cannot work in the same organization. And of course, I teach a little bit of the traditional. She has to leave. And for the next 2 decades, I carried the financial burden of the with ease because of the seed she sowed when we met. So it is not about who earns more, it's the atmosphere you have created. Thank you so much.
So profound.
Amazing
Not
response.
about who earns more, but the atmosphere that you create. I hope couples out there listening and taking quick notes.
I believe so too. So, sir, leaning on your response to the question, it will dive us into the second segment, which is women's money and men's perception, right? Now, from your response, you said that at the beginning of your marriage, your wife was earning more than you.
Far higher.
Far higher than you. All right, so now, why is it often uncomfortable for a man when his partner earns more? And what's really behind the feeling? Is it pride? Is it pressure? Is it cultural conditioning? How does a man navigate in this world where his wife earns more than him? And how does he control his emotions as well?
I will start by decomposing that question.
Yes, sir.
We live in a patriarchal society, like PROM alluded to, and that is very apt. Man is conditioned and raised to carry load. So even when your wife is willing to support you, the people around you will look at you like a failure. If you are unlucky to marry into a family where your wife is probably the firstborn, in which case she has to carry some responsibility of supporting the parents. Your brothers-in-law and your sisters-in-law will not look at you like a responsible person because your inability to support your home has put more pressure on their sister, whom they look up to support them, and not you. So it's cultural. But if you look at it, the Bible didn't expect that to be the situation. Because when the two become one, you carry your load equally. The one that has will put on the table. But our culture does not really support that.
Very
If
true.
it's not managed very well, it can create mental health issue for the man, even without the woman complaining. Because when he's not able to pay the bills, he becomes cocky. Every statement you make, he becomes sensitive to. That is the truth. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your practical response, sir.
Indeed.
It was indeed very, very practical. Okay, so my second question now goes to Pastor Remy Morgan. So, sir, why does it feel like women's money is hers, but a man's money is for the family? Where does this belief come from, and why does it still persist even in the 21st century?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the question. Man's money is ours, and the woman's money
Is mine.
It's her money.
I think it still goes back to what society provides by way of expectation, that the man makes provision for the household. I want to think that that concept was probably what originated or existed in the time of our parents, when a lot of times it was only the man that was working and was essentially the breadwinner. It might have translated into the current dispensation. But if you look at most modern families where both male and female have been educated, in previous generations, education of the woman was not a priority. It was
True.
the man that was the primary focus.
Yes, yes.
But I dare say that that has changed significantly. And I dare say that even if you look at some professions, some disciplines, you have more females graduating. I think even counted CPA exams in America, I think there are slightly more women who are qualifying as certified professional. So what have they taken those studies? They're generating revenue.
Revenue.
And in a lot of environments, you need more than one income to sustain the family and provide the standards that you desire and you require. So I want to think that that is changing. So is there a split between responsibilities? What are the key responsibilities? There's accommodation, there's feeding, there's transportation. And I want to think that a lot of families have found a way that there is joint contribution. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I hear this phrase, your money is our money, my money is my
For real.
money.
So to make the question more practical, sir.
Yeah.
So I heard the story of a couple, right? And this even caused like a very big issue. If I'm almost a divorce in the family.
Wow.
So the husband has been struggling for a while. The wife knew the income of the husband, and it wasn't so much, but it was enough to still cater for some responsibilities at home, right? And coincidentally, he just wanted to do something on his wife's laptop, and he stumbled upon her email address. And fortunately, he started seeing the alerts that his wife was receiving. Huge amounts, that were coming into the account. But before he got this information, he was of the mindset that his wife wasn't working. And when he even tries to speak with her, that can you support me? She'd be like, I don't have money, I don't have this and that. So later on, when he furthered his investigation, he found out that the wife was making so much money to the point that she bought her younger brother a ride to be doing Uber. And also she's building a house for her parents in the village. This is a wife that, she knows that the husband's income is not so much. Yet, she does not support him in any way. She still collects money for school fees, collects money for herself, for her upkeep as well. And when he found out, it really broke him. And he was even contemplating divorce. So in this situation now, it still boils down to the mindset of your money is our money.
Typical
and my
example
money is my money.
So, not just for that couple, we've seen this a lot of times. We've heard it a lot of times, and we believe that it's very predominant in our time. And I mean, it's something we want to speak to on today's episode.
So, Pastor Sylvester, can you help us just share a little bit?
Thank you, Brian.
Yes, sir.
KRM referred to something earlier when he was. Now, women appears to be growing progressively more in career than even men. So the chances are that they will be earning more than the men when you refer to stable income. The truth of the matter is this. Where you are coming from plays a big role what you turn out to be, because we are a product of our environment.
True.
If your parents worked together financially, no lady from that family will find it difficult to support the husband. My wife happens to be the firstborn, but I have also looked at my sisters-in-law. 1, 2, 3. 4 women, 2 men in their family. The successes of my co-in-laws hugely come from the support of my sisters-in-law. I can tell you for free.
That's profound.
And I will tell you it is because the stories I hear from my parents-in-law, because I lost my father very early, I adopted my father-in-law more like my father.
Parents.
Now, the story I hear from them, from the word go, they were working one. So it was not difficult for their women to support their spouses. But I have equally witnessed cases, very practical, where the woman's money does not contribute to the financial responsibility of the house. But the tension can't avoid it. And if it is not managed very well, it can lead to what you alluded to. Crisis, if it's not reconcilable, can lead to divorce. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pastor Sylvester.
Wow. That's quite a lot to take in.
Yes. For our listeners, this is indeed very practical and much earful. I believe with the experiences of our esteemed pastors, we are learning something today.
So, with what we've heard on the second segment, that will feed into the first question for the third segment: men and family finances. Men and family finances. Now, we're talking about home leadership, expectations, and the hidden costs of trying to measure up. So, sir, this is to our beloved PRM. When it comes to leading the home financially, I mean, you said earlier in one of your responses that previously, matter of fact, we come from a patriarchal background. By default, the man is supposed to take full responsibility for the home. But you will agree with me that the times have completely changed. When Emmanuel was doing his introduction, he used the word VUCA, volatile, unusual times are where we find ourselves now. So, when it comes to leading the home financially, who would you suggest, recommend should be the one to lead the finances of the home? Should it be the one who earns more? Should it be the man because we are in a patriarchal culture, or should it be the person who seems more wiser
Or prudent.
with money? Yeah.
Thank you for that interesting question.
So,
The responsibility for leadership, for headship in the house, is really biblical, I dare say, by society. Managing the finances is something that you need to just understand yourself. I think in most cases where I have heard of wives managing finances, because both agree that the wife is more. But a lot of times, I think it is the husband who does manage the finance. I don't know, could there also be the influence of profession? If the wife is an accountant and just has more inclined in that manner, then sometimes the women are just more prudent. I mean, they manage a lot at any time. So many things that they are dealing with. And at times, they're just better poised. But that has to be an agreement, wife. I mean, in my case, I was a chartered accountant. My late father was a chartered accountant. Her father was an accountant. The discipline just
Runs in the family.
And so I pretty much, but she makes very significant contribution, and we discuss a lot of things, a lot of transparency that exists. So it's not too difficult to manage the way that we do.
beautiful.
Thank you very much, sir.
Beautiful. And that's a lot. That speaks a lot to, especially new couples in contemporary times, where you can trust the professional experience, as it were,
Yes.
of your spouse. If she's a wealth manager, I mean,
Why not
if
give her the
not?
opportunity?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, so to Pastor Sylvester, thank you, PRM, for that valid contribution. So, Pastor Sylvester, there is this concern about something called silent assumptions. A couple, they did not discuss this in clear terms, and they silently assumed, and that silent assumption became law. So that's where this question goes to: how do silent assumptions between partners about who should pay for what? I come again. How do silent assumptions about between partners about who should pay for what cause tension in the home? You know, I think earlier today in our sit out with PRM, was it PRM or who? Or Pastor Madi, he said that in foreign climes, a young guy could take a young lady out, they would eat, and each person pays for the meal. In this part of the world, by default, the
man
man
is
is
expected to
silent
pay.
assumption. They didn't discuss it, but because I took you out as a guy, I should pay. So, but in the home this time, men and family finances, how do silent assumptions between partners about who should pay for what? How does it cause tension in the home, sir?
Okay, thank you, brother. See, times are changing, and change is the only constant. We inherited something from our parents, like PRM said. We bear almost the responsibility because we assume and we were taught, even if it's not formally, that women stay at home and take care of the children. Now we inherited part of that. But before long, times are changing so fast with the speed of light. Culturally, if a young man takes a lady out, it's expected out of courtesy in this climb that you pay the bill. But that is not what holds in the West. No, in the West.
In the West.
That's not, it has never been. But again, full disclosure, as they say in accounting, very important in the management of finances. For instance, I said for over 2 decades, I carry the financial responsibility of the home.
The home, yes.
So that there will be no pressure. My wife having worked in the bank, because she understands the numbers. When I'm paid, mortgage, I have consumer loan, I have other loans, I have direct debit for my children's education. Each of them, by God's grace, we have 4. What do? I send the statement to her email so that she will see the credit and the debit, and she will see the disposable income. That way,
Full
I try
disclosure.
to be as transparent as possible. She doesn't expect me to get more than I am paid because I wasn't doing any business. If you don't have full disclosure, chances are that you cannot avoid pocket of crisis. And if not well managed, it will lead to tension. See, we are human beings. Anything you leave to chance will be abused.
Wow.
The only challenge I have with our culture, which is changing gradually, that when you take a lady out, for instance, I'm talking to the unmarried now who are in courtship. Ladies tend to take things they need and the ones they want. It's an abuse. and if you don't discuss it, she may not understand it because her own friends are doing the same thing. But you know, every family is unique, created by God. We may all look alike, but we are not the same.
True, sir.
So there is need for full disclosure of the finances in the family. And when a man starts making extra money, just like the woman, you must disclose it so that you increase your savings for the rainy day. That is why Proverbs 6, verses 6 and 7 says, go to the ant, you laggard, and learn. They have no overseer. They gather in summer because winter is unfavorable.
Yeah.
Family must apply the principles in Proverbs 6, verses 6 to 8. If you fail to plan, you have planned to fail. Thank you.
Wow.
Amazing,
That's epic.
amazing,
I could almost
amazing.
give Pastor Sylvester a round of applause. Yeah, I mean, very well tailored response. And so, keyword, full disclosure.
Yes.
Full disclosure
And
between
transparency.
couples and transparency. And that in his closing remark, if you fail to plan
to fail.
that's what it is. Yeah.
So to like now turn the table around, right? Because facing reality, we know it is not always rosy for a man, right? Even though he might be the highest income earner of the family and the provider of the family, you know. So which now leads us to our 4th segment, which talks about men and money, identity, pressure, and mental health. Now, how do we think that a man can actually navigate this pressure when it comes to, you know, his dignity, his openness, and his emotional safety? Because not every man, you know, has that, should I say, leverage, which speaks to the silent assumption which my brother spoke to. You know, the silent assumption. Not every man has that openness to say they want to lean onto their wives when things are already hard, when the tables are turned and the wife is now the one taking responsibility of the family. Which now leads me to my question, sir, to you, Pastor Remy Morgan. How do you think, you know, money affects the identity and self-worth of a man in today's society, sir?
Thank you, Brother Emmanuel, for that interesting question and quite valid, I would say. Because somehow or the other, you know, a lot of our self-worth is tied to
Money.
True.
Very
Bank
true.
balance,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
the investment. It just gives you a sense of comfort
Yeah.
Security.
that you can
Confidence.
attend to your responsibility and you are functioning in the manner that God wants for you. So maybe there's a compromise in that area or you're challenged in that area. I've come to realize that there is more to being a man than just your bank balance.
True.
Okay.
There are responsibilities that you have in the home that you must be mindful of and somehow encourage yourself so you are not beaten down by maybe the challenge in your finances. And I think part of the responsibility to communicate that and to reinforce that fact must be via fora like this, via men's fellowship. When we, on Father's Day, I preached a message and I couldn't unpack all of it because the responsibilities that we have and that by His grace we walk in as fathers. I have known families where finances were not particularly easy and it was maybe the woman that provided the finances and a little bit of disrespect towards her husband. And then the children went already. Maybe the husband was not around. This whole jackpot thing had kicked in, and the woman could not handle it in the absence of their father. So there's more to the role of a man than providing finance.
Just money.
So men must just try and understand that and appreciate that, and just remain calm and gentle. There's some men that finances are challenged, but then they just feel so pain and they take it out. And any sign of seeming disrespect, they just go off the handle. It's because of this. So God must just help.
It's not easy to be a man.
At all.
And we must encourage ourselves.
Yes.
We must encourage ourselves. And then, so even if the finances at a time are not great, you can't give up. Some men can't even be bothered. And what upsets the wives is that they're not even making any effort. So can we encourage ourselves? Can we have men's fellowship, talk about opportunities, while you're waiting for the job, the finance. I mean, if you have skills and competencies, someone will want to utilize your skills and competencies.
Pay you for
so
it.
Can we challenge ourselves? And in these days, virtual work, you don't have a job, but can you function as a consultant? We must continue to challenge ourselves. What are the skills and competencies? I tell you when I'm talking to some people, and we are telling your competencies. You are the answer to someone's problem. You understand that? You are the solution that somebody is
looking for.
So maybe the place of network,
Yes,
place of engagement, dusting up your CV, developing additional skills and competencies. You can try. And I think we must always continue. So that place you are is not your permanent location. It's only a place you are passing. So this season that you are in is not your destination. It is what you are going. So we must continue to challenge ourselves. We must continue to challenge ourselves. That no matter where it is you are now,
You can always get better. Thank you very much, sir.
don't get stuck in that rut.
Thank you very much.
Powerful
I love the part where you spoke to the man making effort even when things are hard, because truly there will always be hard times.
Always.
But what would make you, stand out and be significant is the effort you put, into those downtimes that you're in, sir. So now moving to the second question, Pastor Sylvester. Now, why do so many men, which speaks to what PRM has said before, that, as men, we see our confidence when we have that financial capacity, Now, why do so many men equate money struggles with being a failure? Not just financially, but as a man. Why do men generally see their financial struggle, that hard time, as being a failure?
It's typical.
Okay, thank you, Brahma. I'm not a fan of home video, but at times I have been forced to watch. Have you realized, even if you're the first son in a family and you don't have the financial strength, when the family meet, you are disrespected, like the PRM said.
Yes.
It may not just be because you don't have money. Financial struggles can lower your voice to the extent that you will not be heard.
True.
The only thing I think we should tell our brothers is in Job 7. Hope for it. Even when it's cut off, because it will sprout it. Man should never lose that hope. When that hope is gone, I'll give you a practical example.
Thank you, sir.
I have a younger friend that was returned to one of these banks, but he doesn't give up. Somebody who cannot give up. Like PRM said, the effort, we can see the effort. For over 2 years, some of our seniors in the industry gave him job. But for 2-3 years, the wife carried the load of the family alone, and she didn't like it, but she didn't speak. To escape the pressure, she got an admission to go and read a master's in Canada. She was already a chartered accountant here, but it goes to speak to the fact that not every woman has the capacity to endure the responsibility of the family, except God intervenes. Can destroy that marriage. She went shortly before she finished her master's program. The husband raised money, took the children, went to Canada. Within 6 months, she filed for divorce.
Wow.
Because she didn't want to continue the experience she had
In Nigeria.
So we have to again go back to the word. Something to encourage us beyond the physical. Because the man that is down today is not out.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
We have cases where brothers have gone low. They've lost their job. They seem to be down. But when God turns around the situation, what will the wife do? That is an advice to our sisters. Because the way you treat a man at
When
his
it's
lowest
down.
moment,
Yes.
he will never forget. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very, very much, Pastor Sylvester. I believe we're having so much packed knowledge in this section, and thank you so much that we do not take your knowledge for granted. Thank you so much.
And this is what the Forge is all about.
Yes.
A platform designed to reach out to men everywhere, men of all
Yes.
kinds, men of all types.
Yes.
You know, in whatever situations you find yourself, I mean, there's a voice for you
Yes.
at the Forge, and the objective is to help you heal, to grow, and to recover.
Yes.
Pastor Sylvester said, "Down but not out." That's amazing. That's amazing. So, to bring things to a wrap, the last segment, very quickly, talking about healing and growth. So, 2 questions. I will put out the first question to Pastor Sylvester again, and then our beloved parent will take the last one. So, Pastor Sylvester, while looking at healing, growth, and new perspectives, if we've looked at all the previous segments we talked about, we want to dovetail into something that men can take away, and get to work in the next couple of days. Looking forward to the next episode, by the way. So, the first question will be: so how can something like therapy, brotherhood, Pierre Emelia said, even the Redeemer's Men
Men's
Fellowship,
yes.
something of that sort, how can it help men heal their mindsets, around money, masculinity, and self-worth? So how can you speak to men who are listening to this podcast that therapy, brotherhood, or strong mentorship can help heal their mindsets about money, masculinity, and self-worth? I'm sure they need encouragement, and they want to just hear from your wealth of knowledge.
Thank you, Brahma. I will refer every man, every brother, every general, every member ROMF listening to this podcast. The challenging time, whether health, finance, emotional, marital, of a man, not the best time to spend alone. I refer us to the series PKP took 2018, 2019, 2020. The series are there on how to manage family week. during family week.
Okay, I recall too.
If the devil succeed in isolating anybody going through finances, therapy will not save that person. That should be the time the brother should spend more fellowship. That he doesn't necessarily need to spend money. Or reach out to people. I want to attend this program in church, but I don't have the money to buy for it. Can you pick me? That is the best time for the brother to be in the midst of brothers.
Yeah.
That is where the therapy is therapeutic. That is where the healing will start. If the devil succeeds in isolating you from the assembly of brethren, there is almost no hope for that brother. That is the much I can say. That is the best time you need to be in the midst of brethren, in the midst of friends. Hear what they are saying. It will lighten the body. It will relieve you. The prayers, the encouragement, the laughter is the therapy that we need. That is not a time for you to be isolated. Chances are that when brothers have challenges, they want to stay alone. And we should reach out to them deliberately, intentionally, and pull them out. That is where the danger is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor.
Sorry, Kisley, if I can just add a little perspective to the question, sir. So looking at it, right, obviously the man, would not just want to push to being in the gathering of fellow
Brethren,
brothers. Brothers. Let me use that word, brothers. But his wife is the closest to him, right? And what if it's in a situation whereby she is the one trying to get close to him, but he doesn't want to get close to her? Can she take up the responsibility of, informing other brethren, even though he doesn't want, it to be so open out there? Maybe he doesn't want to escalate it. He wants to find a way to handle it in himself. But the wife knows that the struggle is so much. Can she go ahead to assist him in escalating, to the brethren?
Okay, this is what I will say. There is an African proverb. If you hide sickness, sickness will help kill you. See, we have to learn to be vulnerable. We must get to that level in our spiritual walk with God, that when we are going through struggles, not just financial struggles, I should be able to walk up to a brother and say, I need to have a word with you. Pray with me. I am not finding it easy in these areas. If I can't do it, my wife can take up that responsibility. I can tell you, we rarely use statistics in this part of the world. But in the West, isolation is one of the easiest way to go into depression. Suicide cases are all interrelated. We must come out because that problem has an expiring date. It is not the end of the world. So he said that the brothers step up to do it, or if they are married. But the onus again is on the church. It may not be the church as a whole because we don't know everybody.
Yes.
The house fellowship, the Sunday, the natural groups, the different departments. We should be able to look at the people we used to know and say, you have changed from the person I used to know, Brother Iman. What is wrong? And if I come to you in love, you will open up to me. We shouldn't wait for them to come to us. We should be observant. Because it's a family. This is the family of God. We should be able to observe that this brother that used to smile,
Has lost his smile.
Is withdrawing.
That is withdrawal syndrome. It's no more interested in talking, in contributing to conversation. We should ask, we should probe. And if we can't handle it, we should reach out to the leadership to intervene. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Wow. That's just a lot to unpack.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. But again, that's what I said earlier. This is what the Forge is about. And we're going to be treating more and more cases like this.
Very practical
in subsequent
cases.
episodes. You can look forward to a whole lot of help that we'll be sharing with our questions and, of course, with our guests in the studio. Pastor Remy Morgan, you would have the last word. We're speaking to the individual now, just like Pastor Sylvester has spoken about the big benefits of fellowship. So we're speaking to the individual. Sir, if a man is out there listening right now and he feels like a failure, especially because he's broke, no money, lean wallet, and his identity is just as fallen in. What would you say as a word of encouragement to his heart? Something to lighten him up, something to to run with the weak.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
You must just take. The Bible says, a living dog is,
Yes.
and we're not dogs.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So when there is life, there is what?
There's hope. Yeah.
There is hope. We must just recognize. I think I've told you, when I got to Christchurch, I got here. If I meet someone, you introduce yourself to me. I'll ask you, oh, and you're in Christchurch. How long have you been in church? And my next question is, you're a worker. Why? Because those small groups are vital.
True.
Acts chapter 2, the Bible says, verse 46, they continued daily with one accord in the temple. They met in the temple. They met in the auditorium on Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and breaking bread from house to house. It talks about house fellowship. So it's great to be in church. But people can't understand what you're going through. There's no accountability partner unless you are in a small
space.
So Sunday school class, house fellowship class, is it your workers group? Is it the men's fellowship? Is it the women's fellowship?
Yeah.
And hopefully, is it the SIG? Or hopefully, will it be in the mountain? That's where we're looking at evolving to. So if you're in the business space, education space, and we understand that we are gathering together and having engagement, we will be able to speak.
Very true.
True.
And it's for real. Years ago, one of our very faithful and committed ministers, I didn't see him in church. I asked his wife, hey, where is so-and-so? Pastor, he's at home, crying. Solid guy, brilliant guy, prize winner. He's at home, he's crying. Why? Tried some business, investments. I feel he couldn't come to church.
Wow.
But because we knew, we were able to reach out. Reality is, and being in, men's, there are issues out there.
Indeed.
I think I was sharing with you, one of our recent conventions. We had Pastor take one of the papers. We had a lot of compare in that session, and we couldn't answer all her questions. Or she couldn't answer all our questions. So she took the pile of questions home, and then she came up with this book.
Oh, wow.
Men also
cry.
And I make sure I hand that book when I was a pastor in charge of Province 35. I made sure that all my area pastors got a copy of the book. I wanted them to just understand the issues that men
go through.
At times we are wearing those masks because hey, gotta have it all together. I'm not talking about congregational members. I'm talking about our leaders. I'm talking about our pastors and our pastors. Remember when in the height of the VUCA crisis, we used to have meetings at province pastor level in Timeta. I remember at one of those meetings, one of the senior pastors was saying, we need to reach out to the men, and let them set up fellowship. I think it was Pastor Shalaba Hugo, if he says that. But the pastors have their issues.
Very true.
Indeed.
You're asking those that are ill and hurt to reach out to who now? How are they going to do that?
When they need help themselves.
Yeah.
When they need help themselves. And that is, and we need to be authentic, we need to be vulnerable, and we've got to. Iron must sharpen iron. must call to. We must not forsake the assembly of brethren together. As the manner of some is. In those days, there was all the, oh, I don't do it, or leave me alone. We need to be intentional. And if the issues are there and you're not getting a response, let's escalate. There are ways that we as leaders know how to reach out to folks. See the kind of support. We must be our brother's keeper.
Practically. Yes.
Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart. Second is, thou shalt love what?
Your neighbor as yourself.
And let's understand what it is that God expects of us. Just receive grace. We must be intentional about it. That's the things.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Because of time, we would have just gone on and on and on.
Yes.
Because again, this is for men, by men, and just to ensure that men can find a voice and they can get the help that they need at the Forge podcast. If today's conversation stirred something in you, I'm speaking to everyone listening to the podcast right now. If today's conversation stirred something deep within you, know this, that you are not your wallet. You are not your paycheck. You are far bigger and better as God intentionally designed you. You are not your debt. And you are certainly not a failure. Just because life feels heavy right now, not so. God's intentions for us as men are of good, never of evil, to bring us to an expected end. Wow.
And I must say that as a man, it's okay not to have all the answers. It's okay not to have all the money in the world.
Yeah.
It's okay to, like Pastor Sylvester said, to be vulnerable. It's okay to show that, you are down there. And just as PRM said, as long as you're putting in the effort and you're putting in your best, definitely that hard time will not last forever.
Indeed.
So on the Forge podcast, that is why we spill everything out practically, for you to hear what you're feeling and for you to hear from experienced people how you can navigate your way through it. That is why we're here for you on this podcast, to show you that you're not alone on this journey. Yeah. And we're here to walk with you all through the way.
Yeah, so just to say again, this is a space for your questions. We are going to be making provisions for questions to come in to the studio beginning the next episode. We want to hear your questions about your struggles, your growth, and of course, testimonies about your healing. It's very important,
very, very important
to us. And so we are saying, kindly ensure to share this with a brother, a friend, a loved one, even your spouse, if there are ladies by chance listening to this podcast. Let us keep this conversation going, right, Emmanuel?
Definitely. And quickly, we would like to acknowledge everyone that made this podcast very, very possible. Starting from the church leadership led by our dear Father in the Lord, Pastor Remy Morgan.
Thank you, sir.
To Pastor Amadi, to the Redeemer's Men Fellowship leaders led by Pastor Austin, Pastor Mike Aigbe, and members of the RMF ESCOs and all others members who contributed one way or the other. We say a big thank you to you all. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much indeed, because this is going to be ongoing, and
Definitely.
Of course we will continually need all the support that we can get.
Yes, please.
So we are drawing the curtains on today's episode. It's been an amazing time with our special guest, PRM. Thank you so much for this debut, and the dynamic Pastor Sylvester.
Yeah.
It's interesting to know that he can be as quiet here, as deep as this. Thank you so much, sir. We definitely will have you next time in the studio at the Forge podcast. Until next time, I'm Kingsley Ifoga, and
I am Emmanuel Okunla.
And this has been the Forge podcast, where your truth is valid and your voice
is welcome.
Let's have a triumphant week ahead. God bless you, and we'll see you
on our next episode.
God bless you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Nations wait. How long can you wait? How How long can you wait on me?